Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are asking a really fundamental question about how you navigate the world.
Yeah,
It's the kind of thing that, sounds simple, but it really isn't. We're constantly making judgments
all day, every day.
about what's right or wrong,
Mm.
whether we're motivated enough to do the work.
And maybe most importantly, what other people are feeling when we look at them.
Exactly. We assume a frown means sadness, a stoned face means they're unfeeling. We treat these things like they're objective realities.
Like gravity.
Yeah, like gravity.
Yeah.
But what if that's not the case? What if the script we think we're all following is actually being written by us in real time?
And that is the rabbit hole we're going down today.
It is. We have a fascinating stack of sources that you wouldn't normally put together.
Not at all.
We've got some pretty heavy academic slides on ethics, morals, and laws.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a transcript from a video by Jocko Willink. He's a former Navy SEAL commander talking about discipline.
And then, for the big twist.
The big one, a TED Talk transcript from neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett that just completely flips what we think we know about emotions.
It's a really diverse stack, but the mission here is, I think, very cohesive. We're trying to explore the operating system of human behavior.
That's a great way to put it.
We'll start with the external rules society's software, you could say, laws, ethics.
Yeah.
Then we'll get into the internal drive, which is discipline.
And finally,
We're going to look at the biological hardware, the brain itself, and how it literally constructs the reality you think you're just observing.
I have to say, looking at these, I was expecting the science to blow my mind, but I was so surprised by how much the philosophy and the military strategy just clicked together.
They really do. It's all about structure,
Thanks.
right? Whether it's a legal structure, a mental one, or a neurological one.
So let's jump into that first layer, the rules. We have this source, Chapter 02, breaking down ethics, morals, and laws.
Right.
And I think most of us use those words interchangeably.
We do. And this source basically says, hold on, they are very different things. And that distinction is crucial.
Okay, so let's define them. Ethics is what?
Ethics is defined as a standard of right and wrong, but it's usually in a specific external context. Think professional codes.
So like for doctors or lawyers?
Exactly. It's the code you agree to follow because you're part of that group.
Right. And that's different from morals, which the source says are much more personal.
Precisely. Morals are your internal compass. They're shaped by your culture, your upbringing. What's moral in one place might be totally immoral in another.
And then there are laws.
The ones with the consequences.
The ones with the handcuffs, yeah. The enforceable rules.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The source talks about this like a Venn diagram. You'd hope that what's legal is also moral and ethical, right?
You would hope it's just one big circle.
But we know it's not.
Not even close, historically.
Definitely not. I mean, there are so many examples of things that were perfectly legal, the law of the land, but were just profoundly unethical.
Okay, let's unpack this one part because it really caught my eye. The difference between being ethical and just being nice.
Oh, yes. This is such a common trap people fall into.
The source says they're not the same thing at all. And I love this because we mix them up all the time. You think, oh, he's a nice guy, so he must be ethical.
But you can be incredibly rigid with an ethical code and not be a nice person about it.
Or the opposite, right? You can be super nice, super polite.
And be completely unethical. Think of a surgeon with a terrible bedside manner.
Yeah.
Gruff, maybe a little rude.
Not nice.
Not nice at all. But if they follow the medical code of ethics perfectly, they are a highly ethical person.
Versus the super charming financial advisor.
Who sends you birthday cards and asks about your kids while he's quietly embezzling all your money?
That is a terrifyingly good example. So niceness is a personality trait. Ethics is a discipline. It's an action.
And that's not just theory. The source talks about applied ethics. We're talking about bioethics, cloning, gene therapy, huge stuff. Where the laws haven't caught up yet, so ethics is the only framework we have. It requires active decision-making. You can't just be on autopilot.
And that active decision-making, that requires a specific kind of mindset.
It does. Which, I think, brings us perfectly to our next source.
Yes, the engine. So we know the rules, but how do we actually do it? This is where Jocko Willink comes in.
A big shift from the academic to the battlefield.
It is. Jocko's a former Navy SEAL, and his whole thing is summed up in this title: discipline, freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right away, that sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? Discipline feels like a cage.
It feels like restriction, for sure.
Waking up at 4:30 in the morning, not eating the donut, that doesn't feel like freedom.
In the moment, no. But Jocko's whole point is that the easy road, the path of doing whatever you feel like, that actually leads to less freedom in the long run.
Right. If you don't have financial discipline, you're not free. If you don't have health discipline, you're not free.
You're a slave to your impulses.
He has a great line about motivation. You know, how we all wait to feel like doing the right thing.
And he just demolishes that idea.
Completely. He says motivation is just a feeling. And like all feelings, it's fickle. You can't trust it.
You really can't. It's a fair weather friend. Discipline is what shows up every single day, regardless of how you feel. And that ties right back into ethics, doesn't it?
It does.
Being ethical is often hard. It's inconvenient. If you only do it when you feel like it, you're going to fail. You need the discipline.
There's a story he tells that I just love, the toilet anecdote.
It's such a great example of humility.
So Jocko graduates from SEAL training. He is, an elite warrior. He shows up at SEAL Team 1, ready for these secret missions.
Ready for glory.
And his commanding officer just says, go clean the toilets.
The communal toilets for the whole team.
The whole team. And his reaction is what matters. He didn't complain. He didn't say, I'm a SEAL. He just decided he was going to clean those toilets so well they would sparkle.
And the lesson there is just massive. He says if you're too good to clean a toilet, you're too good to lead a mission.
It's about ego, humility.
Arrogance is the enemy. He would have failed that very first test if he'd let his ego get in the way.
And that all rolls up into his core philosophy, which he calls extreme ownership.
This is the idea that you take responsibility for absolutely everything in your world.
No blaming the system, no blaming your boss.
Not even the weather. If the mission fails, it is on you, period.
If the toilet isn't clean, it's on you.
And if we connect that back, think about it. Ethical behavior isn't just following rules. It's taking extreme ownership of your choices and their outcomes.
Okay, so we have the rules ethics. We have the drive to follow them. Yeah. Discipline. That seems like a pretty complete system.
It does.
But this is where it gets really interesting.
This is the twist.
Because we are making a huge assumption. We're assuming that when we look at the world to make these decisions, we're actually seeing what's really there.
And that is the assumption that Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett is about to completely dismantle.
This is the neuroscience part of the stack. And I'm not kidding. This made me just stop and stare at a wall for a few minutes.
It's mind-bending stuff.
Her TED Talk is called, You Aren't at the Mercy of Your Emotions, Your Brain Creates Them.
And she starts by just destroying a myth pretty much everyone believes.
Yeah.
That we have emotion circuits hardwired in our brains.
Right, like a little fear button or a happiness switch that we're born with.
Exactly. We think something happens, a circuit fires, and we have an emotion. But her lab, they scan hundreds of brains, they analyze thousands of studies, and the conclusion is no brain on Earth contains emotion circuits.
Wait, say that again? There are no emotion circuits?
Zero. None. Emotions are not built in, they are built.
Okay, my brain just fizzled a little bit. So if they're not hardwired, what is happening? She talks about this experiment with blobs.
Right, the blobs. So imagine you're looking at a screen full of black and white blobs. Just static. Your brain is trying to make sense of it, but it can't. It sees nothing.
Okay, I'm with you. Just noise.
Then, for a second, she shows you a clear picture of a snake.
Got it. A snake.
Then she takes it away and shows you the blobs again. And what do you see?
You see the snake.
You can't not see the snake. But here's the key. Your brain isn't just remembering, it's actively constricting the image of the snake out of the blobs. It's basically hallucinating a snake based on that new piece of information.
That's what she calls prediction.
Exactly. The brain doesn't react to the world, it predicts it. It uses your past experiences to guess what all the sensory noise means.
And emotions work the same way.
The exact same way. A feeling is just a guess. Your heart races, your brain goes, okay, heart racing, where are we? If you're in a dark alley, it constructs fear. If you're looking at someone you love, it constructs excitement.
The physical sensation is identical. The emotion is a story the brain tells about it.
It's a construct.
This is just,
Yeah.
It's huge.
Right.
Because it means we aren't just reading other people, we're writing them.
We are, and this is where the whole stack just collides with reality. Remember the laws and ethics from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, Barrett brings up this incredibly high-stakes example. The Boston Marathon bomber, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev.
I remember this. He was guilty. There was no question he did it.
None at all. But the jury had to make another decision. Life in prison or the death penalty. And that decision legally came down to one thing. Did he feel remorse?
So they're all just staring at him in the courtroom trying to read his face for an answer?
That's exactly what they were doing. He apologized with his words, but his face, The jurors called it a stone-faced stare. They looked at him and their brains predicted remorseless.
But Barrett says that was a huge cultural misreading.
A massive one. She points out that in his Chechen culture, the expected behavior for a man in that situation is to stoically accept defeat.
So he was actually behaving according to his cultural rules.
He was. But the jurors, using their own Western cultural predictions, saw that stoicism not as dignity or shame, but as a complete lack of humanity.
Wow. So they were essentially hallucinating remorselessness onto his face because of what a stone face means in their experience.
That's the argument. And this just blows a hole in our legal system, which relies on our ability to read people's intent and remorse.
If our readings are just predictions based on our own biases, what does that mean?
It means we're probably getting it wrong a lot. And it's not just courtrooms. She mentions tech companies spending millions on emotion detection AI.
And she's saying
they're asking the wrong question. You can't detect an emotion from facial movements alone. A stone face can mean a dozen different things. Without context, the data is meaningless.
So where does that leave us? We've gone from these big external rules to internal discipline to this idea that our reality is a hallucination. How do we put this all together?
I think it all comes back to Jocko. It comes back to extreme ownership.
But ownership of what?
Ownership of our perceptions. If you accept the science that your brain is a prediction machine, then you have to take extreme ownership of the predictions it's making.
You can't just trust your gut feeling anymore.
You can't. When you look at someone and your brain serves up, he's angry or she's arrogant, you have to stop.
You have to pause.
And you have to ask yourself, is that reality? Or is that a story my brain just constructed based on my own past?
That takes a lot of discipline, though. It's so much easier to just react.
It is. But as Jocko says, the easy road leads to the hard life. The hard road of questioning your own biases, of applying that ethical framework, that's the only way to actually see things more clearly.
It really does all circle back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We have the external structures, laws and ethics.
Right.
We have the internal tool, discipline.
Yep.
But we have to use them knowing that the map itself, our brain is drawing itself as we go.
We are the architects of our own experience,
Yes.
which is an immense power, but it's also an immense responsibility.
I want to leave everyone with one final thought on that. So if the brain constructs reality based on past experience, and we learned from Jocko that discipline is how you create your daily experience.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Does that mean that by practicing discipline today, you are physically rewiring the data your brain will use to predict the world tomorrow?
That is a profound thought. By changing your actions, you are literally changing how you will see the world in the future. You're changing who you will become.
Something to think about. Thanks for diving in with us.
Stay curious and keep questioning your predictions.
See you next time.